Could one man really stop an entire Roman fleet with mirrors, levers, and giant claws? Meet Archimedes, the legendary Greek mathematician, engineer, and inventor whose genius turned the city of Syracuse into an almost impregnable fortress. He wasn't just a thinker lost in equations. He was a master of practical invention, building machines that seemed almost magical to the people of his time. From levers that could lift impossibly heavy objects to devices that could launch projectiles at attacking ships, Archimedes' mind was a battlefield of creativity. But behind the myths and legends lies a man whose obsession with solving problems changed the course of history. By the end of this video, you'll see why Archimedes wasn't just an inventor. He was a force of nature, and the Romans would soon learn that the mind can be as deadly as any army. Archimedes was fascinated by the power of machines. He once famously said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum and I can move the world." And he meant it. Using pulleys, levers, and ingenious mechanical systems, he could lift enormous weights with just his hands. When the Romans doubted his abilities, he built devices that could pull entire ships from the water using giant claws, terrifying enemy sailors and turning the tide of battles. Catapults and other defensive machines multiplied the city's strength, making Syracuse seem almost invincible. And then there's the story that has captivated imaginations for centuries: the death ray. Rumors suggest Archimedes lined up mirrors to focus the sun's rays, blinding enemy sailors and possibly igniting ships. While modern experiments question the practicality of this device, there's no denying the fear and chaos it inspired among invaders, proving that his inventions were as much psychological weapons as mechanical marvels. Archimedes wasn't just an inventor. He was a man consumed by ideas. His focus was so intense that he often forgot to eat, sleep, or even bathe unless his students reminded him. He lived for solving problems, whether they were practical, like designing massive ships, or theoretical, like calculating the areas and volumes of complex shapes. One of his most famous creations was a massive ship for the king of Syracuse, designed to carry hundreds of people with gardens, gyms, and even a small temple on board. Beyond these engineering feats, Archimedes' mind stretched into the abstract. He explored the principles of levers, perfected the Archimedes screw for moving water, and laid the foundations for modern calculus with his work on areas and volumes. His genius was relentless, a combination of creativity, obsession, and pure curiosity that left a mark on both science and history. When the Romans finally set their sights on Syracuse, Archimedes' inventions became the city's ultimate defense. Giant claws snatched enemy ships from the water, massive catapults hurled projectiles with terrifying force, and the so-called death ray dazzled and disoriented attackers. From the shore, it seemed as if the gods themselves were protecting the city, and the Roman soldiers could hardly believe what they were facing. Archimedes turned ordinary materials into extraordinary weapons, combining mathematics, physics, and sheer ingenuity. The Romans kept coming, but each assault was met with more ingenious defenses, causing confusion, fear, and chaos. It was a battle of brains against brawn, and for a time Archimedes made Syracuse nearly untouchable. Archimedes' brilliance didn't stop at the battlefield. He revolutionized mathematics and science, laying the groundwork for principles we still use today. He rigorously calculated areas, volumes, and the value of pi, exploring shapes from spheres to spirals with methods that foreshadowed modern calculus. Archimedes also studied the mechanics of levers, the concept of center of gravity, and fluid displacement, what we now call Archimedes' principle. His inventions were more than clever gadgets. They were practical applications of mathematical laws. Even today, engineers, physicists, and mathematicians study his work to understand the principles behind pulleys, screws, and buoyancy. Archimedes combined imagination with scientific rigor, proving that math isn't just theoretical. It can change the real world in astonishing ways. Despite his brilliance, Archimedes' life ended tragically. When the Romans finally breached Syracuse, soldiers found him calmly drawing geometric figures in the sand. They ordered him to come with them, but he refused, famously saying, "Do not disturb my circles." Angered, one soldier killed him on the spot. His death was a profound loss for the ancient world, one of history's greatest minds silenced in the chaos of war. Yet Archimedes' legacy endured. His discoveries in mathematics, physics, and engineering inspired generations, influencing thinkers from the Renaissance to modern science. Even the inventions and devices often attributed to him, some mythic, some real, serve as a testament to human ingenuity, showing that a single mind, focused and fearless, can change the course of history. Archimedes' story teaches us that curiosity, focus, and creativity can turn the impossible into reality. He showed that the mind can be a more powerful weapon than armies, and that invention thrives where imagination meets rigorous thinking. His life also reminds us of the fragile line between genius and danger, how even the brightest minds can be caught in circumstances beyond their control. Today, his principles are applied in engineering, physics, and mathematics worldwide, proving that innovation can outlive even the fiercest battles. Archimedes didn't just change his world. He left a blueprint for generations to come, inspiring anyone who dares to think differently and push the boundaries of what's possible. Archimedes' life was a remarkable blend of genius, invention, and human drama. From moving massive ships with clever machines to unraveling the secrets of mathematics, he transformed how the world understood science and engineering. His story reminds us that true innovation often comes from relentless curiosity and bold thinking. Even in the face of danger, Archimedes stayed true to his passion, leaving behind ideas that continue to shape our world. So the next time you marvel at a machine, a bridge, or even a simple lever, remember, one person's vision can echo across centuries. What could you create if you dared to see the world as Archimedes did?